Both Elon Musk and Bill Gates have spoken out recently about their fears about our reliance on AI and where it may grow in the next coming years and decades and so on. Though recently an AI chief scientist, Andrew Ng, he's one of the best known AI researchers in the world, has said that these thoughts were probably unfounded and you need to worry more about just in a nutshell, AI and robots taking your job as opposed to taking over your society. And it's an interesting question to think of.
Yeah, this is it's an argument of short-term worry versus long-term worry. So the long-term fear is obviously the robots will rise up and kill us, which, you know, I think we all joke around. It's a common refrain. We all welcome our robot overlords. Yeah, trope for a long time. And that's, I think, a lot of what we hear people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk specifically like talking about, like AI is very dangerous and over time it could be, you know, used against us and all this other stuff. But this particular scientist is saying that we need to think about short-term effects of AI. So, for example, right now we have robot butlers in hotels, and we have security guards, and we have, you know, basic jobs that have been traditionally performed by humans now being performed by robots. And if we look at things like the Industrial Revolution, we had a very long time to adapt to that technology shift and the development of that technology. But now it's coming so quickly to people that we may really struggle with it as a society, a global society, because people are going to be put out of work. And this is going to be a very interesting, you know, it always reminds me of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where they're like, Charlie's dad lost his job at the toothpaste factory and then checking the caps, and then came back and had a job later, like fixing the robot that put on the caps. Like, it's like we're going to have some sort of shift to be able to, you know, keep working and finding new ways to have jobs that might be displaced by robots, which is really, it's a little scary, but it's also really interesting that that's sort of a problem that we have in society. Isn't that amazing that, you know, we're worried about, you know, gosh, what are we going to do with these people who might lose their jobs because of robots?
I don't know. I mean, it would be a shift. Andrew Ng also refers to the agricultural shift in the United States 200 years ago, where about 90% of people were working in agriculture, and now it's just 2%. Everybody else, well, the other 88% of people have for the most part successfully transitioned into other careers and productivity.
But we had 200 years to do that, and they're saying this might be 20 years,
maybe,
or 50, and even that, even if it's 100, that's still twice as quick. And it's something that I think he has a good point in saying that we should be concerned about it, or just be at least aware of it, and say, okay, well, what are the steps that we need to take to sort of figure out what we're going to do when robots start, you know, driving our cars for us?
Well, we have control over the programming, at least for now. But it's interesting to see, are we programming AI that's more intelligent than humans at the same level, under? Are we programming morality? Are we doing some kind of feature that they would be able to use on their own at some point?
We talk a lot about robots on Tomorrow Daily, and I think one of the things that we've sort of seen as a trend is a lot of robots right now are being developed for things like search and rescue, places where you wouldn't want to send a person if you didn't have to, or you wouldn't want to use a person if you didn't have to. And so there was a robot that can ski. She was able to do sports, play hockey and ski. And I think that it's going to be a while before we see emotions and ethics, and there's a lot of that's really true kind of artificial intelligence, where it's able to sort of learn and make its own decisions and understand sort of humanity, which that's sort of the apex of AI. That's the stuff we see in movies. But really, at the end of the day, it's about, you know, the basic robots that we're seeing now that are programmed to do a very specific activity that might displace workers in that particular field, whatever that is. So we have to, you know, I think he has a really good point. I think Stephen Hawking and Bill Gates and Elon Musk are all very intelligent people and should be listened to about AI. And I think they all have very good points. And I think that it's something that we have to be careful about, but it's also something that I feel is going to happen regardless. So
we can't stop innovation. And
right.
We can't stop evolving as a society and a
Exactly.
people, at least I think. But then we do also have to, we can't just run in blindly as well. It's a very complicated issue with very intelligent minds on both sides of the debate. What do you think? Is AI something that we need to be worried about now in terms of our society as people, or is it something more short-term, more based on the workforce? Let us know below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe.